في ساحة للعلم كنا نلتقي والحب والإخلاص
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another exciting, bumper, explosive show with me, your host, Mr. K, on the Qurtuba Online Math Show. Guys, I hope you guys, we are shooting, this is actually episode 4. You watched the previous episodes, they're all going in sequence, right? We talk about sequence, right? Pun on the word sequence, because the topic that we are doing is sequences and series. Now, I hope you guys have got your files and I hope you got your scientific calculators ready. Remember, as from now on, it's going to get hectic, right? So be focused, know what we're talking about. Go, keep your notes. You'll have to refer to your notes. I'll tell you which notes to refer to. And let's get ready for today's another exciting episode of the QOA Math Show. Okay, let's get started. Where did we end off in our previous episode? Okay, we started off with the sum of 10 terms. Now, this is grade 12 only, not grade 11. The sum of 10 terms of an arithmetic series. The key word here, arithmetic series, is 60. The second and fifth terms add up to 9. Find the series. Okay, so what have they given? Let's study the question. They're telling you 10 terms sum to 60, right? They sum to 60, they add up to 60. The second term and the fifth term add up to 9. You need to find the actual series. Where do we begin? So let's start here on the side. Right, take a deep breath in. Bismillah, we start in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Deep breath in. Let's start. Okay, so in our answer, they tell us the sum of 10 terms of an arithmetic series is 60. So we say S10 is equal to 60. Right? Now remember, the minute they give you two statements, they're giving you need to develop two equations. And whenever you have two equations, you all know simultaneous equations. Now this is for grade 12 only, not grade 11 at all. So let's start. S10 is equal to 60. The second and fifth terms. So T2, the second, T2, there we go. And the fifth terms plus T5 is equal to 9. That's equation number 1. That's equation number 2. Now we need, as it stands, guys, as it stands, we can't do anything with it. Right? Because there's no equation yet. We need to develop the equation. And how do we develop the equation? We need to convert it to arithmetic series language. We need to convert it to arithmetic series language. So let's start. S10. We know from our formulas, and you can go back to your formula sheet, the mind map that I gave you in the previous episode. And guys, don't stress. If you missed any of the previous episodes, just go to Hilaal TV on YouTube. Right? Go to Hilaal TV on YouTube. You'll get all the previous episodes. You can watch them. Okay, so we go. Sn equals n over 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 times d, because your last term is not given. So they're giving you the Sn. The Sn is 60. The sum of 10 terms, here's it, the sum of 10 terms is 60, is equal to 10 over 2. The number of terms is 10, so we got 10 over 2 into 2a, I don't have a, plus n minus 1. 10 minus 1, 9, and times your common difference. Right, so 60 is equal to 10 divided by 2. You all should know your timetables by now. 10 divided by 2 is 5 into 2a plus 9d. And here we go, divide by 5. We want to get rid of the 5. Divide by 5, divide by 5. Your first equation, 2a plus 9d. There we go, 2a plus 9d is equal to 60 divided by 5 is 12. And there we go, that is equation number 1. This is how you construct for arithmetic. If it was geometric, you'd have to use the SN formula for geometric. We're going to get to that just now. So you've got this one down, right? Let's go there on T2 plus T5. What is term 2 known as? Term 2 is known as A plus 1D. Remember from our mind map from the previous show? T2, term 2 is A plus 1D. Plus, there's your plus. Big plus sign. T5 is a plus 4d is equal to 9. And there's your second equation. Let's collect our like terms. 1a plus 1a, 2a, plus 1d plus 4, 1d plus 4d, plus 5d is equal to 9. That's equation number 2. So we got 2a plus 9d is equal to 12. We got 2a plus 5d is equal to 9. Let's do some simultaneous equations. I'm going to say 2a plus 9d is equal to 12. And there we go. That was equation number 1. Now we need to get rid of the a's. I can't add them because then I'll get 4a plus 14d. We got to subtract the 2, right? What do we need to do? We need to subtract. So we remember, when we're subtracting, we're saying equation 2 minus equation number 1. So when you're subtracting, all these bottom signs are going to change. That's going to become a minus. That's going to become a minus. And that's going to become a minus. So 2a minus 2a is 0. 5d minus 9d minus 4d is equal to 9 minus 12 is minus 3. Divide by negative 4. Divide by negative 4. What do you have? D. D is equal to negative divide by negative is a positive. We are left with 3 over 4. So we got D. We're short of A. Remember, what's the purpose? It's arithmetic. So if it's arithmetic, I need A and D. So I got D. I'm short of A. Right? So I got D. D is equal to 3 over 4. Now we take the 3 over 4 and we substitute it into any of these two equations. So you've got this down. I'm going to need some space, so I'm going to clear up here on this side here. So let's go to our eraser. Let's go to our eraser. We're going to substitute the 3 over 4 into whichever equation you want to do. Let's do it into 2a plus 9d equals 12. So let's take that out. Let's take that out. And let's put it into this equation here, guys. Right, so let's go back to our pen. And where's Mr. Red? So we got 2a plus 9d is equal to 12. Let's substitute the 3 over 4 for every d. So we got 2a plus 9. What's your d? Your d is 3 over 4 is equal to 12. Right? This 3 over 4, I'm plugging it into there. Okay. Let's erase all of this. Let's take all that out. And let's continue. Right, now let's solve for A. We need to solve for A. I got D, I need to solve for A. So what am I left with? 2A plus 3 times 9 is 27 over 4 is equal to 12. 2a equals 12 minus 27 over 4. Right, I'm going to take this on the other side. So a equals 12 minus 27 over 4 divided by 2. A equals 12 minus 27 over 4. So that's 4. 1 into 4, 4 times 48 minus 27 divided by 2. It's 21 over 8. Check your calculators. Let's check, guys. Let's check. Right, so we go 12 minus fraction 27 over 4 equals, and we divide that by 2 equals, my calculator tells me at 2,62, but let's see, 21 divided by 8 equals, 2,62, perfect, it's correct. It is correct. So there we go, 21 over 8, 3 over 4. So if your first term is 21 over 8 and your common difference is 3 over 4, let's just do it in a different color because they said, what was the question? Find the series. So let's do it in a different color, guys. Let's do it in a different color. Let's choose green. Right, let's go. So your first term is 21 over 8 plus 3 over 4 gives you 27 over 8 plus 3 over 4 gives you 33 over 8 plus ... And there we go. That is your series. That's your series. So what did we do? We took equation number 1. We got equation number 2. We worked them out simultaneously. We solved for A and we solved for D. In fact, we solved for D first, then we solved for A. There's A, 21 over 8, plus 3 over 4, 27 over 8, plus 3 over 4 to give you 33 over 8. And there we go. This is a higher order exam style question. Okay, grade 12s only. I hope you've taken all of this down. Let's go to another very, very popular question, right? Where they give you a sum formula, but they want you to find the value of a term. Check this out. Check this out. So let's delete there. Let's change our pen and let's go this. Let's see. This is example number 2, right? Example number 2. Example number 2. So let's put there exam. Okay. If Sn equals 4n squared plus 4n, now they're giving you a Sn formula. If Sn equals 4n squared plus 4n, find the 8th term. Find the 8th term for 5 marks. Question in your exam, answer. So they give you a Sn formula, right? They tell you the sum of a whole series of terms is given by that, 4n squared plus 4n. They want the 8th term. How would you find the 8th term? Now, let's use a little bit of common sense. Let's use a little bit of logic, right? If we had 5 people sitting in a room, just think about this, right? We had 5 people. Person 1, person 2, person 3, person 4, person 5. Forget about the question now. We say we got 5 people sitting in a room. If I tell you that the sum of 5 people's ages, right? I'm talking about the age now. If the sum of 5 people's ages is 100, and then I tell you that the sum of 4 people's ages is equal to 80, find what is T5. How much is T5? How would you find it? Obviously, the 5th term would be the sum of 5 minus the sum of 4. So obviously 100 minus 80 is 20. That means the 5th person's age is 20. How did we get the 5th person's age? We took the sum of 5 minus the sum of 4. So if I wanted the 100th term, I'll take the sum of 100 minus the sum of 99. You always subtract 1. So if I want the 10th term, I'll take the sum of 10 minus the sum of 9. Let's go back. So you've understood all of this. Now let's go back to our question. And what does our question say? Right? It says if Sn equals 4n squared, find the 8th term. So what am I going to do? Come on, common sense. To find the 8th term, I'm going to take, so to find T8, listen here, to find T8, we're going to take the sum of 8 minus the sum of 7. So T8, let's do it here, T8 is equal to the sum of 8. So I'm going to put 8 into here, right? Because we're given the formula. The sum of 8 minus the sum of 7. So the sum of 8 would be 4 into 8 squared plus 4 into 8. Right? Let's work this one out on this side here. So 8 squared is 64. 64 times 4 is 256 plus 32. That is equal to 256 plus 32, 288. That's the sum of 8. Minus the sum of 7. So now we're going to put for every n, I'm going to put 7. 4 into 7 squared plus 4 into 7. So what would that give me? 7 squared, 7 times 7, 49. 49 times 4 is 196 plus 28. 4 times 7 is 28. So that's minus 196 plus 28, 224. So 288 minus 224, your answer is 64. And there we go, that's your final answer. Guys, I'm not doing rough calculations here on the screen. This is a template. Exactly the way I answer it here on the screen is exactly the way you answer it in your paper. And you'll get full marks for that. Right? T8 is equal to S8 minus S7. Substitute 8 into your formula. Substitute 7 into your formula. Subtract the 2 and you get your final answer there as 64. Okay. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Remember, the show is brought to you by Qurtuba Online Academy, the finest online academy in South Africa. Okay, in fact, possibly in the Islamic world. Okay, hope you guys are enjoying the show, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying the show and you're looking forward to these shows. Remember, our live shows or our main shows are on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and the replays or the repeats of the show are on Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings. You can just go to Hilaal TV, go to their website and check all our airing times. All right, so here we go. This was exam question number 2. So you've taken this one down. Let's delete this. Let's give you something with geometric. Come, we've done with arithmetic. Let's do something with regard to geometric. So let's give you a geometric sequence. Here's a geometric sequence, right? I tell you, here's a geometric sequence. I tell you 2 plus 2 times a half is 1, plus a half, plus a quarter, plus dot, 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 dot. Right. And I tell you here, find the sum. The question is, find the sum of the first 10 terms. Right, so what do we do? That's the question in your exam. Right, let's go and look at the answer. Let's see what do we have and how can we get. So here's our answer. That's question. Here's answer. Right, we know 2 times a half. 2 times a half gives me 1. 1 times a half gives me a half. A half times a half gives me a quarter. So we need to find the sum of the first 10 terms. So what do I have? I got A is equal to 2. I got my common ratio, which is equal to, my common ratio is equal to a half. What do I know about R? R is a fraction. R is less than 1 but greater than minus 1. So you are allowed to do this in the exam. Extract what information you are given, put it down, and now apply the formula. Where do I get the formula from? Obviously, I'm expecting you grade 12s to know it by now. Alternatively, you go to your formula sheet or you go to the mind map that I gave you in the previous episode. So what is the formula? This is finite. It ends. Although there's dot going on to infinity, but it's not going on to infinity because they're saying the sum of the first 10 terms. So it stops. After 10 terms, so it's finite, not infinite. Okay. So for finite, Sn equals A into, for when R is a fraction, 1 minus R to the power n over 1 minus R. So S to how many terms? They're telling you 10 terms, S10. What's A? 2 into 1 minus. What's your common ratio? A half to the power n. What's n? 10. Over 1 minus, what's R? A half. And there we go. Go to your calculator, plug it in. Like I told you in the previous episode, I hope you guys got if you got your cell phones, it's fine. And I hope you downloaded the FX991 app from Android, from your Play Store. And there's your calculator. Let's go. We're going to go to open brackets. 1 minus, open brackets. Half, let's go fraction. 1 over 2, go to the side, close brackets, to the power 10, let's go to the power 10, close brackets, at the end, let's go to the side, let's close the brackets, and then divide that equals, divide that by 1 minus a half is a half, so I'm just going to divide it by half, you get 3,99. Your answer that you get is 3,99. So we can go 3,99, which is approximately 4. And there's the sum, this is converge. Remember something here, the sum of 10 terms, sorry, I didn't use the word convergent, eh? That's only for infinity. The sum of 10 terms, if I added all 10 terms, you know the next term is going to be 1 over 8, 1 over 16, 1 over 32, 1 over 64, 1 over 128, 1 over 256. It's going to continue like that. So now, the sum of 10 of these terms is going to equal to 4. And there we go. There's a geometric series where you're actually using your sum formula. Okay, so I hope you've taken this one down. We're now going to go into infinity. Right, so we've done. Let's do a recap quickly. Right, let's just find out how many minutes we got for break. Right, I think we've got 3 minutes for break. So before we wrap up, we've just been informed by our control room, we've got 3 minutes for break. So let's quickly wrap up what we've done. We've done arithmetic sequence, we've done geometric sequence, we've done arithmetic series, we've done geometric series, all to do with finite. You remember from the mind map that I gave you? We're done with the finite. What are we going into now? We are now going into infinity, right? So I hope you've taken all this down. Write down your new topic, infinity. So let's go. Let's put down our pens. I'm going to give you. Now remember what I told you when we were doing our mind map, that infinity only deals with geometric. Either R greater than 1 or R is a fraction. If R is a fraction, convergent. If R is a whole number, divergent. Okay? So infinity, geometric. There are only 3 types here. There are only 3 types, and we're going to start with the first type. So let's call it example number 1. I'm going to leave you with this question before break. Okay? I'm going to leave you for this question before break. During break, you can work it out. Grade 12s, you know your work. When we come back from the break, from your coffee break or your bathroom break, you come back from break and we'll do the memo for this one. So, let's take the same one. Let's take 5 plus 5 over 2 plus 5 over 4 plus 5 over 8 plus ... Now it's going on to infinity. Right. Question number 1. Find the sum to infinity. Right. And number 2. Does the above series, this is the most popular question I know you've come across this. You'll check it through all your past papers. Does the above series converge or diverge? Why? The first question worth 3 marks. The second question worth 3 marks. Total marks for this question 6. Okay, take this question down. We're taking a quick break. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. When we come back from break, we'll be working out the memo for this question. Enjoy your break, guys. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to our second segment of today's exciting show. Guys, we're wrapping up sequences and series today. Remember, our next episode, we are going to be starting with calculus for grade 12s, all right? So stay focused. Enjoy the show. I hope you guys took a bit of a relief during the ad break. Get your mind nice and unpacked. Now it's time to focus again. Okay, so I left you with a question before the break. Okay, I left you with a question before the break. I told you we're doing sum to infinity now. 5 over 2, 5 over 4, 5 over 8. Find the sum to infinity, and does the above series converge or diverge? These are exam type questions. And if you're a grade 12, obviously, you know you've seen this before. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go and answer question number 1. Let's find the sum to infinity. Right, let's take that out. And then we'll answer the second question. Does the above series converge or diverge? So let's take that out. Let's take that out. Let's take that out. Let's go back to our pen and let's take out a red pen for our answer. Right, the answer to question number 1. Find the sum. They want the sum to infinity. That's the question. The first thing you do, take out your A. You know A is equal to 5. Your first term is 5. Your R, your common ratio, take this divided by that. So 5 over 2 divided by 5, you can do it on your calculator. 5 over 2 divided by 5, you get R is a half. The minute you get R is a half, you know that R is less than 1 but greater than minus 1. So therefore, in your mind already you know it's infinity. R is a fraction, so therefore it must be convergent. So therefore S to infinity for convergent, your formula, A over 1 minus R. Right? Go back to the mind map. So what's A? 5 over 1 minus. What's your common ratio? What's your R? Half. This is equal to 5 over 1 minus a half is a half. Times 2 times 2, your answer is 10. So your S to infinity is 10. Now there's a reason you might be asking, why did they ask us only in the second question whether the series converges or diverges? Whereas we needed to find out here already whether here we already determined that it converges. Why didn't they ask us this afterwards? Why? They tried to catch you, right? They tried to catch you. You know why? Let me explain to you. You would have calculated everything. You would have got sum to infinity is equal to 10. You would have got so excited that 10 is a whole number. You would have said R is greater than 1. Therefore, it must be divergent. Wrong. We're not looking at sum to infinity, guys. We are not looking at sum to infinity. What are we looking at? We're looking at R. If R is a fraction, it converges. So you're not looking at your sum to infinity. You might have seen that this is a whole number, and maybe in your mind it triggered off that, hey, you know what, it's a whole number. I heard them saying something, if something is a whole number, it must be divergent. No. If R is a whole number or it's greater than 1, then it is divergent. In this case, it converges because R is a fraction. We're looking at R, your common ratio, not your sum to infinity, although your sum to infinity is 10. Now we can answer the second question. And let's answer the second question here on the side. Does the above series converge or diverge? Question number 2. It converges. This is the answer for question number 2. Why? Because r is less than 1, greater than minus 1. A half, remember r is a half, is less than 1 but greater than minus 1. And that's the way you would answer question number 2. It converges, it doesn't diverge. Okay, so I hope you've taken this one down. Very, very, very popular exam question. Right, let's look at another very popular question with regard to sum to infinity before we get to our next topic, which is going to be sigma notation. All right, so take this down. This was the first type there. What did I say in the previous segment of today's session? There are only 3 types under infinity. This is type number 1. Let's go on to type number 2. Right, so in your books, put there type number 2. Let's do type number 2. So let's go back here. Let's choose that. And let's say this is type number 2. Now, I know you've seen this one before. You've seen it in your exams, right? They tell you for which value or values of P will the series. Let's give you a series. Let's say 1 minus P over 2 squared plus 1 minus P over 2. In fact, we can go 1 minus P over 2 plus 1 minus P over 2 squared plus 1 minus P over 2 cubed plus ... Question number 1, for which, so here's the question, for which value or values of P will this series converge? So question number 1, converge. And question number 2, find the sum to infinity if P equals minus 1, for example. Okay, very popular. 3 marks and 3 marks, 6 marks. It could be even a little bit more. It could be 4 marks and 3 marks, 7 marks in your exam. Guys, like I told you, and I always, and I'm going to repeat myself, I'm not doing rough calculations here on the screen. Exactly the way I answer it here, you can use it as a template, only the values will change. So master the template. Okay, let's get started. So let's answer question number 1. For it to converge, what do we know about, because they're telling us that it converges, right? Remember, it's going on to infinity. So for it, this is how you answer it in the exam. You write, for it to converge, what do we know? R must be less than 1 but greater than minus 1, isn't it? That's your formula. Your common ratio must be a fraction for it to converge. So let's calculate R. What is R? Isn't R term 2 divided by term 1? R is term 2 divided by term 1 must be less than 1 but greater than minus 1. What is term 2? Term 2 is 1 minus P squared, 1 minus P over 2 all squared over term 1 is 1 minus P over 2. Less than 1, greater than minus 1. So now what do we do, guys? What do we do? Remember, 1 minus P over 2 all squared divided by 1 minus P over 2 to the power 1. 2 minus 1, what am I left with? I'm left with 1 minus P over 2 less than 1 greater than minus 1. We now need to solve for P. We now need, because what does the question ask you? For which values of P? So now we need to solve it in a double inequality. Multiply this side by 2. Multiply that side by 2. Let's just move over to the side. So minus 2 less than 1 minus P less than 2 times 1 is 2. Let's solve for P. Take the 1 over on both sides. Minus 2 minus 1. Minus 3 less than minus P less than 2 minus 1 is 1. Now divide by a negative. But you know when you're dividing by minus 1, the inequality is going to change over. So P greater than minus 1 but less than 3. Right? Because we're dividing by negative 1. So that sign will change, that sign will change, that sign will change, that sign will change, and that sign will change. So here's your answer. For all your P values greater than minus 1, less than 3, the series will converge. Now you write, for all other values, for all other value or values of P, if it doesn't converge, the series diverges. There we go. So this is where you would answer it. Let me block it off for you so you can see it quite clearly. Right. So here we go. this is where we begin. For it to converge, we do all of this, right? Okay, so let's block that off. That's where you start. That's step number 1. Then you solve for P. This is step number 2. There we go. And this here is your final answer. So step number 1, step number 2, step number 3. You start it off exactly like this. For it to converge, you start with the formula. You do it like this. You solve for P in the middle of your double inequality. There we go. And now you say, for these values, it will converge. For all other values of P, the series diverges. Okay, so we've answered question number 1. You probably get about 3 to 4 marks for this question. Guys, I hope you guys are focused. I hope you're still paying attention. I know it's been you in the middle of your prelim exams. I know it's tough, but unfortunately, we need to do this work. Remember, you are being tested on this in your final exams. And remember, we're going to be completing the entire maths syllabus for CAPS in preparation for your final exams within 16 episodes before your 2022 sitting. So stay focused, stay tuned to Hilaal TV, channel 347 DSTV. Okay, guys. So that wraps this question up. Now the second question, I gave you 2 questions, remember? The first question I told you find the sum to infinite, for which value or values of P will it converge? And then the second question I gave you, find the sum to infinity if P equals -1. So now, if P equals -1, so let's erase all of this. I'm just going to go all of this. So let's take all of this out. There we go. We're taking this out. Let's answer question number 2. So we're done with all of this. Lots of writing here. Lots of writing. Let's see what we can get here. That's all out. That's out. That's out. Here we go. Okay, let's go. Find the sum to infinity if P equals to -1. So let's go here. Let's do it in red. So now we know sum to infinity for convergent is equal to A over 1 minus R. What's your A? Your A is your first term. 1 minus P over 2 divided by 1 minus, your R was also 1 minus P all over 2. There we go. Okay, take this down. Take that down. And now they told us that P was equal to -1. So what are we going to do? Substitute -1. We're now going to substitute -1 for every P. So let's do it. Let's do it together. So substitute -1 into here. Let's go. This is equal to 1 minus P is -1. They told us if P is equal to -1 over 2 divided by 1 minus -1 all over 2. Now this is just algebra, guys. I know it looks a bit rough, it looks a bit complicating, but it's very simple. You can use your calculators or you can do it physically. So let's continue. I'm going to move over from here to here, right? So this is equal to 1. Negative times negative is a positive, so it's 1 plus 1 over 2 divided by 1 minus 1 plus 1 over 2. This is equal to 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 over 2 is 1 over 1 minus 2 over 2 is 1. So here's our calculation. We got 1 over 1 minus 1. Look what happens in this situation. Right? Look what happened. We got a very strange situation happening here. We got 1 over 1 minus 1 is 0. And we know that this is undefined. Therefore, P cannot equal to -1. Right? In this case here, you can't have 0 in a denominator of a fraction. So it becomes undefined. Guys, I've checked this like 10 times to check whether my algebra was correct. And it works out all the time that the denominator here is 0. Okay, so here in this case, P cannot equal to -1. But if you had another value, whatever other value for P, that would have been your final answer. Because we can check it again. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 over 2 is 1. There we go. Over 1 minus 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 over 2 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. So we know we are correct. But we get a very strange situation where we get 0 in the denominator. So therefore, P cannot equal to, in fact, what you can write, P cannot, there's no solution to this. P cannot equal to -1. It can be any other value. Any other value, it will work. But P can just not equal to -1. Okay. So there we go. This was type 2. Let's go on to type 3. Let's go on to type 3. And I know you've seen this one. Or some of you have seen it, some of you haven't. It looks a bit complicating. They tell you this is the last one before we go into sigma notation. Convert 3,27 recurring to a common fraction using series formula. Using series formula. Right, for 5 marks. Now these are your higher order questions, guys. These are your higher order questions. So take this question down. We know it's infinity. Why? Because it's recurring. 27, 27, 27 going on to infinity. So let's see, how would we answer this? So that's your question in your exam. Here's your answer. Okay, so we know 3,27 is going to be 3 plus, there's a 3 plus whatever comes after the decimal. So this is going to be 27 over. 2 dots represent 2 zeros, 2 decimal places. And you know 2 zeros is 100. The next 27, remember, I'm going to move over to the side. This is going to be 3,27272727 going on to infinity. So the first one is 2 dots, right? Therefore we put 100. The next 27 is 4 dots. So we go plus 27 over 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 27 over 10,000. Plus 27 over 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Plus going on to infinity. So we know this is 3 plus. We know this is a geometric series. We're summing a geometric series after the comma. So my first term here, A, is equal to 27 over 100. My R is that divided by that, my common ratio, which will be 1 over 100. And we know 1 over 100, R is less than 1 but greater than minus 1. So therefore we know it converges. It converges to a certain number, and that's the number we are looking for. So this is equal to 3 plus, now what is the sum to infinity? So sum to infinity for convergent is A over 1 minus R. So let's go again. 3 plus. What's your A? 27 over 100. Divided by 1 minus. What's your R? 1 over 100. We can go to this. We can say 3 plus. So now we're going to have 27 over 100 divided by, the number 1 is 100 over 100. So 100 over 100 minus 1 over 100 is 99 over 100. And times 100 over 99 times 100 over 99. I'm going to move over to the side. It's 3 plus, what's in our brackets is going to be 27 over 99. 27 over 99, which is equal to 3 plus 3 over 11. Your final answer is 3 and 3/11. And there we go. You can check it on your calculator. It all works. Remember, from here, I just moved up to there. Okay. That's the way you answer it, guys, in your exam. You can copy and paste it. It's a template. You can go through it. You can answer it as we've done it here on the screen, step by step. Only thing, I didn't have enough space here on the screen. So you'll continue with these last 3 parts of your equation going down, not moving over to the side. Okay, and there we go. Guys, that brings us to the end of infinity. Hopefully, with these tools that I've given you, these examples, these types, these are your most familiar types. Learn them, master them. No matter what you get in the exam, you'll be able to apply it. You can manipulate it. You can manipulate these styles in order to get to your final solution. Obviously, you're going to have to apply your mind in your exam. All your questions in the exam are not going to be exactly what you've seen before, but you want to prepare yourself with the most familiar types that you could see, right? So that brings us to the end of sequences and series. We're now going to go on to the new component. We're now going to wrap up sequences and series, and we're now going to be doing sigma notation. So we're done with infinity now. We're now going into sigma notation, and let's put the heading there, sigma notation. So let's go, sigma notation. Now the word sigma means sum. The word sigma means sum. So you're summing a series. At this point in time, you won't know whether you're summing finite, arithmetic, geometric, or infinity, right? You'll have to see. So let's go. You'll have to first determine. So let me explain to you what is sigma. That is sigma. You're going to get a number on the top. So let's say the number on the top is 10. Let's say they tell you n equals 3. Let's say they tell you 4n plus 1. And the question in the exam says calculate or evaluate. And they give you 5 marks for that. Right? So I'm going to show you the different styles of sigma. We're starting from the most basic, and I'm going to give you a couple of examples on how it is done. Right? Or the styles in which you could be asked. So take this one down, sigma. So it means find the sum. 4n, that's your general expression. 4n plus 1. Top number minus bottom number. So what do we do? Where do we begin? We first find n, our number of terms. So what we're going to do, we're now going to find n, our number of terms. And how do I find n? N is not this n. N is not this n here. Okay? N, your number of terms. You take your top number minus your bottom number. So you take your top number minus your bottom number plus 1. So 10 minus 3, 10 minus 3 plus 1, which is equal to 10 minus 3 is 7. 7 plus 1, 8 terms. So we have 8 terms. In fact, my finger works better than the pen. Right, so let's go. N is equal to 8 terms. Now we start substituting. Be careful, guys. Be careful. Listen and listen carefully. You need to take this bottom number and you need to substitute it in there. So now we need to expand sigma. So my first term, my term number 1, you're going to have term number 1, term number 2, term number 3. If that was infinity on the top, if that was infinity, you just say dot, dot, dot. But it's not infinity. There's a number on the top. So therefore, we must have a last term. Right, so you can say dot, 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 going to our last term. Okay, what's your first term? Let's substitute 3. So we got 4 into 3 plus 1 plus 4 into, you take your next integer, you go in ascending order from lowest to highest. So 3, 4, 5, 6, going on, right? But we're only going to do the first 3. So let's go back, right? So 4 into 3, we use 3, right? Because that's your first number that you're going to substitute in. Now we're going to go 4 into 4 plus 1. Now we're going to go 4 into 5 plus 1. Dot, dot, dot. And our last term, we take the top number because it's finite. Remember, it's finite. Why? Because we got a number on the top. So this is 4 into 10 plus 1. Let's expand this. Let's expand this. 4 times 3 is 12. Right? 4 times 3 is 12. 12 plus 1 is 13. Your first term is 13. Your second term, 4 times 4 is 16. Plus 1 is 17. 4 times 5 is 20. Plus 1 is 21. Plus dot, 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 dot. 4 times 10 is 40. Plus 1 is 41. So we got 13, 17, 20, 21. So therefore, my A is equal to 13. My common difference is equal to, between 13 and 17 is 4. My last term is given, which is 41. Which formula will I use? Yes, you are right. Sn equals n over 2 into A plus L. So S to how many terms? That's why we needed to find our number of terms. Again, how did we find our number of terms? We took our top number minus our bottom number plus 1. So 10 minus 3 is 7 plus 1 gave me 8 terms. We then started substituting from the bottom in to get our series. Then we determined only here whether it was arithmetic or geometric, and we used the correct formula. So we got 8 over 2 into A. What's A? 13. Plus, what's our last term? 41. And what's our final answer? 8 over 2 is 4 into 41 plus 13 is 54. And what is that? 216, I think. 50 times 40, 216. And there we go. That is our final answer, 216. And that's how we've calculated, and that is how we have evaluated the sigma. So please remember these steps, guys. Remember these steps. Let me highlight the steps again for you. Let me highlight the steps again for you. Right. Step number 1. Yeah. Time. Oh, okay. Right. Okay. We just got take this one down. We're cutting for break. Yo, time flies when you're here in studio, guys. I hope you guys enjoying the show. Control room just told us, cut! It's time for break. Guys, enjoy your break. I'll see you in the next segment. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the Qurtuba Online Mathematics Show presented by me, your host, Mr. Kota, aka Mr. K from the QOA Institute and Hilaal TV. Guys, I hope you guys are enjoying the show. We had to quickly cut for break in our previous segment. They told us time was up. Let's go back here. This is where I left you. I'm going to just highlight this for you guys to show you the steps. I know it's a lot of writing. The first thing we need to do is to find n, our number of terms. That was step number 1. Step number 2 was to start substituting into your original. So all this here is step number 2. There we go. I'm just blocking it off so you can see what's happening. I'm just isolating each part. Part number 1, part number 2. Now we've identified that is an arithmetic series and we use the correct formula. This is part number 3. And there is your final answer. Okay, so whether it's so this one was in terms of arithmetic. Let's do one in terms of geometric finite. This was arithmetic finite. We're now going to do geometric finite. Then we're going to do infinity. Okay, so I hope you've taken this one down. You'll get used to it. It's a little bit of practice, but you will get used to it. I promise you. Right. Let's go to another one. We're going to follow the same strategy. So here's example number 2. Right? Example number 2. So I give you sigma. I give you a number on the top. I tell you 15. I tell you n equals 6. And I tell you 2 into 1 over 5 to the power n minus 1. Right, there we go. Now I tell you to evaluate. The question says evaluate. What did I tell you in the previous question? Look, whether it's arithmetic or geometric, you follow the same pattern. Just in the final answer, you use the correct or the appropriate formula. All right, so let's go. We need to find n, our number of terms. Let's see if you remember. Well, how do I find n, my number of terms? Top number minus bottom number plus 1. Correct. You're saying it with me. I like it. I can hear you. Supersonic hearing. Don't have big ears for nothing. Let's go. Right. 15 minus 6. So 15 minus 6 plus 1. 15 minus 6 is 9. 9 plus 1. That means there are 10 terms. There are 10 terms. That was step number 1. Step number 2, what did I say? Start inserting from here. Right? Now, I'm going to do just the first 2 or first 3. And then we're going to say dot, dot, dot. And then we can get our last term because it's finite. So, let's go. Let's change the color. I'm just going to change the color here. Let's go. We're now going to take the 6 and we're going to plug it into there. So, we got 2 into 1 over 5 to the power 6 minus 1. Right, 6. The next number we're going to put is 7. So we're going to have 2 into 1 over 5 to the, that's a 5, to the power 7 minus 1. 2 into 1 over 5 to the power 8 minus 1. And then my last term is going to be 2 into 1 over 5 to the power 15 minus 1. Right, let's go. So let's expand. We haven't yet expanded it completely. So that's 2 into 1 over 5 to the power 6 minus 1 is 5. Plus 2 into 1 over 5 to the power 7 minus 1 is 6. Plus 2 into 1 over 5 to the power 8 minus 1 is 7. Plus dot 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 2 into 1 over 5 to the power 15 minus 1 is 14. So we know this is geometric. We know this is geometric. Let's see what this gives us. Right. Let's see. What is my first term? So 2, open brackets, fraction, 1 over 5, close brackets, to the power 5. Boom. Okay, it doesn't give it to me. Let's just see. It gives me 2 over 3, 1, 2, 5. That's my first term. Let's go into our second term. We go 2, open brackets, fraction, 1 over 5, close brackets, to the power, I know these are big numbers, we're going up to the power 6. I get 2 over 15, 6 to 5, plus, and it will continue like this until you get your final. We're not interested in what comes after that. We know this is geometric. So now we know A is equal to 2 over 3,125. Okay, let me just go back there. 3,125. What is my R? My R is that divided by that. So let's go. And I'm sure it's going to be 1 over 5. Let's check. 2 over 15,625 divided by 2 over 3,125. 1 over 5. And R is less than 1 but greater than minus 1. And is it finite or is it infinite? It's finite. It ends. So obviously we now have to use our formula. We have to use Sn equals A into 1 minus R to the power n over 1 minus R. I'm going to move over to the side. What's your A? 2 over 3,125 into 1 minus, what's R? 1 over 5 to the power n. How many terms? 10 terms. Divided by 1 minus R. 1 minus 1 over 5. Here's your final answer coming up, guys. Take out your scientific calculators. Let's go. Fraction. 2 over 3,125. Open brackets. Multiplied by. Let's go again. 1 minus. Open brackets fraction. 1 over 5. Close brackets. To the power 10. Close brackets again. Whoa, these numbers are huge. Equals, let's divide that by 4 over 5, right? Because 5 over 5 minus 1 over 5 is 4 over 5. Divided by 4 over 5. So let's go 4 over 5. Sure. This answer is huge, guys. 488. 2812 over, my word, 610. 351 5625. You're going to ask me to read that number out. You 6,103,515,625. I can officially say I'm proudly South African. I can read, I can count. I know my numbers. Right. So you got 4,800,000. It's a huge number. Look, the final answer is immaterial, guys. The final answer is immaterial. It's what the process is to getting to that final answer. Okay, so here we go. This was geometric. The first one we did was arithmetic. This one is geometric. Now, highly unlikely you're going to get something with such a big number in your final exam, just with such a final answer. But this style of question, highly possible. So just know how to unpack it. I made it up now in studio. Remember, I only know the types. So every type that I'm showing you here, I'm not working through a script. Remember, these shows are actually virtually live. They could go live, right? Because we're not working through a script. I'm giving you the most, I'm telling you all this. I've memorized all the templates. I've memorized all the most commonly asked types that could be asked. So all I do is I'm just changing the values to show you that it's not about the answer. It's not about the numbers. It's about the process. And that's why mathematics is so important. Knowing process and knowing how to apply that process. Sure, but this Indian can talk a lot, nah? I think time for me to shut up. Should I keep quiet a little bit? I'm giving you a headache. Relax, relax. Much more to come. 16 more episodes. No, 12 more episodes. Okay, let's go. Right, I wish these walls could talk. Right, here goes. So that's done. Let's go on to infinity. We okay there in the control room? I think he's also going mad. When he's done with it, he tells me, shoo, these numbers giving me a headache. Anyway, let's go. Let's do another one. Let's do one with infinity now, guys. Let's do one with infinity. So I give you sigma, I give you infinity. I tell you n equals minus 2. Check this one out. Right? They're going to try and catch you in the exam. Right? They're going to put minus 2 there. Now they tell you, let's say 2 into 1 over 3 to the power n minus 1. Right? Calculate or evaluate. Calculate or evaluate. So I didn't even know that I talk so much. Yeah, but that's what we do, right? We need to talk. Let's go. Okay, now it's infinity. Now it is infinity. It's worth 5 marks. It's infinity. So obviously you can't say top number minus bottom number to find your number of terms. Common sense, right? So obviously we don't need to find in our number of terms. We just start substituting immediately from here. Let's go from there into there. So your first term here is going to be 2 into a third to the power minus 2 minus 1 plus, let's see if you know what's your next term. What is the next term going to be? So it's going to be 2 into 1 over 3 to the power. We use minus 2. I said ascending order. Don't go and put minus 3. You'll get it wrong. You put minus 1. Right? Minus 1 minus 1 plus 2 into a third to the power 0 minus 1 plus, and it will go over to infinity. Right, let's expand this. Let's see what this is all about. So now this is 2 into a third to the power minus 2 minus 1 is minus 3 plus 2 into a third to the power minus 1 is minus 2 plus 2 into a third, right? That's a third, the ugliest 3 you've ever seen in your life, minus 1 plus going on to infinity. Let's go again. 2 into 3 to the minus 3, right? This is a third to the power minus 3. So this is 3 to the minus 1 to the power minus 3. I'm bringing this up to the top. Plus 2 into 3 to the minus 1 to the minus 2. Plus 2 into a third to the power... no, let's take that out. That's 3 to the minus 1, right? 3 to the minus 1 to the power minus 1 plus dot, 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 dot. I'm just simplifying. All I'm doing now is I'm just simplifying. So this is 2 into 3 to the power. Negative times negative is a positive, so it's 3 to the power 3 plus 2 into 3 to the power 2 plus 2 into 3 to the power 1 plus dot, dot, dot. Yeah, now you know what your children have to go through in math. Am I right? You know what they say? Math, mental abuse to humans. Right? So now you know why your children cry in grade 12. Like, what even? What even? Let's go. We're not yet done. We're far from done. So 3 cubed is 27. 27 times 2 is 54. Plus 3 squared is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. Plus 2 times 3 is 9. Plus, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. So what is A? A is equal to 54. What is R? R is 18 over 54. Right? 18 over 54. I'm talking so much, my throat is getting hoarse. 18 over 54 is 1 over 3. And we know that R is less than 1, but greater than minus 1. Right, and this is infinity. So S to infinity for convergent is A over 1 minus R. What's your A? 54. That's why we needed to get right down till our series. There's our series. Over 1 minus. What's your R? 1 over 3. This is equal to 54 divided by 2 over 3, which is equal to, you can use your calculators here, 54 divided by 2 over 3. 54 divided by 2 over 3. 81. Your final answer is 81. Now, they can also try and confuse you in the exam or try and change the question around and say, show that the sum of all of this is equal to 81. Make it like an identity. So then you're going to have left-hand side equal to right-hand side. So you'll have to still do all this calculation. Yeah, it's a lot of numbers, né? It's a lot of numbers, guys. And the whole world operates on all these numbers. Imagine, if we didn't have numbers, the world, we wouldn't be able to make sense of the world around us. Okay, so there we go. We got 81. And that brings us to the end of series. So, of sigma notation, sorry. So we've done arithmetic sequences, arithmetic geometric sequence, arithmetic finite series, geometric finite series. We've done our 3 types of infinity, and we've done the whole of sigma notation. Now, I just want to find out from control room how much time do we have left? I think we've got about 7 minutes. Okay, so now let's just quickly wrap up. Let's give you some exam style questions. Quickly, a very popular exam style question, right? They tell you This is exam, right? This has got nothing to do now with the sigma. I'm just giving you an exam style question to wrap up sequences and series for today. I'm not starting a new topic today. We're going to start in our next episode, guys. Take a deep breath for our next episode, and there we're starting with calculus. All right, heavy calculus. So let's start in the exam. Whoa, what happened there? Right, so there we go. In our exam, I tell you 2 plus 2 plus 5 plus 4 plus 8 plus 8 plus ... I want the sum, find the sum for 6 marks. I want the sum of the first 50 terms. Find the sum of the first 50, whoa, let's go there, first 50 terms. 6 marks. Enjoying it so far, guys? I hope you guys are enjoying it. I hope you guys are learning. Lots of teaching happening in these 3 segments on every day that we are shooting. But remember, we need to prep you for the final exams. So please make sure you memorize these templates, you work it out, you replay these episodes. Go to the Hilaal TV website, right? Or go to YouTube, Hilaal TV. Watch these episodes 1,000,000 times. Watch it over and over and over until you can do the same examples. You can pause me. You don't need to hear my voice again. You can play it over and over and over until you can do it and get your final answer without anybody assisting you. Okay, let's go. Let's answer this one here, guys. Now, guys, watch here. You'll find out when you're trying to work out your first difference, it's not arithmetic, it's not geometric. So it must be a combination. Watch here. 2, 5, 8. The next term will be 11. So every alternate term is arithmetic. 2, 4, 8. The next one will be 16. Right? This is geometric. So that means this is a combination series. So they want the sum of the first 50 terms, but there are 2 series combined. So we're going to find out what is S25 in the arithmetic, and then we're going to find out what is S25 in the geometric, and we're going to add the 2. Right? So in the first one, Sn equals n over 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 times d. I'm dealing with that. So S25, the sum to 25 terms is n over 2, 25 over 2 into 2. A is 2 plus 25 minus 1 is 24. My common difference is 3. Let's do this all one shot on the calculator. Let's go to our calculators here, guys. We're going to go fraction, 25 over 2, open brackets, 2 times 2 is 4, plus 24 times 3, 72. Yay, what did you do there? Plus 72. And we close the brackets there at the end. Our answer here is 950. Now let's do S25 in the geometric. So here, Sn equals A into your common, you're multiplying by 2, multiplying by 2, multiplying by 2. So it's A into r to the power n minus 1 over r minus 1, because r is equal to 2 and r is greater than 1. So S25 is equal to, what's your first term here? 2 in your geometric. Into, what's your common ratio here? 2. So it's 2 to the power 25 minus 1 all over r 2 minus 1. Let's go. Clear your calculator. 2, open brackets. 2 to the power 25. Go to the side. Minus 1. Close brackets. Over 2 minus 1 is 1. Your answer here is 6710862. So obviously S50. They want the sum to 50 terms. Remember, sum of 50 terms is going to be the 950. The S25 in arithmetic plus. So S50 is going to equal to 950. There we go. Plus the 6710862. Here's your final answer. plus 950, and we get 67109812. And there we go. That is your answer. That is your final answer, and that is a sum of 50 terms. Guys, that is all we have. That's enough time that we have only for today's show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Right? Remember, practice, practice, practice. We're starting, our next show is going to be dealing with calculus. Get ready, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'll see you guys in our next show. From me, Mr. K, the QOA Institute, Qurtuba Online, and Hilaal TV. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
في ساحة للعلم كنا نلتقي والحب والإخلاص زاد قلوبنا نمضي إلى نور اليقين ونرتقي قمم الفلاح وتاجنا أخلاق